as I sit here in our cozy study overlooking the rolling hills of Napa Valley, a glass of our favorite Cabernet in hand, I can't help but reflect on the extraordinary journey that has brought my husband, Jack, and me to this point. My name is Emily Thompson, and at 58 years old, I've lived a life that's been equal parts ambition, love, heartbreak, and triumph. This is our story, Jack's and mine, not just as professionals who built an empire from nothing, but as partners who navigated the highs and lows of marriage, family, and the relentless pursuit of the American dream. It's told from my heart, the way only a wife can see it, through the lens of unwavering support, quiet sacrifices, and the deep, abiding love that has been our anchor. It all began in the bustling heart of Chicago. Back in 1987, I was 20, a wide-eyed sophomore at Northwestern University, majoring in business administration with dreams of shattering glass ceilings in corporate America. Jack was 22, a senior engineering student at the same school, hailing from a modest family in rural Illinois. We met at a campus mixer. Nothing fancy, just cheap beer and bad 80s music. He was tall, with that boyish grin and a mop of sandy hair that always seemed a bit too long for his own good. I remember him spilling his drink on my shoe as he tried to introduce himself. "Emily, right? I've seen you in the library. You look like someone who knows where she's going." His words were clumsy, but there was a spark in his eyes, a quiet confidence that drew me in. Little did I know that awkward encounter would set the foundation for a partnership that would define our lives. Our early years were a whirlwind of young love and shared ambitions. After graduation, Jack landed a job at a small tech firm in Silicon Valley, tinkering with early computer hardware, while I pursued an MBA at Stanford. We got married in 1990 in a simple ceremony at a lakeside chapel in Evanston, Illinois, surrounded by family and friends. I wore a second-hand dress from my mother's closet, and Jack's suit was rented, but we felt like royalty. "Emily," he whispered during our vows, "together we'll build something unbreakable." Those words became our mantra. We moved to California, squeezing into a tiny apartment in Palo Alto where the rent ate half our salaries. Nights were spent dreaming big, Jack sketching prototypes on napkins, me poring over business plans. We were broke, but we were invincible. Professionally, those first few years tested us. Jack's company folded in the dot-com bubble's precursor shakeup, leaving him unemployed for 6 months. I was working as a junior analyst at a venture capital firm, pulling 80-hour weeks to make ends meet. It was during this time that our bond truly solidified. I'd come home exhausted, and Jack would have dinner waiting. Simple pasta or grilled cheese, but made with love. We'd talk for hours about his ideas for a new kind of networking device that could revolutionize data storage. "What if we started our own thing?" he said one night. I laughed at first, but then I saw the fire in his eyes. I quit my job, cashed in my meager savings, and we founded Thompson Tech in our garage in 1992. It was classic Silicon Valley folklore. 2 kids with a dream, no investors, just grit. The early days of Thompson Tech were grueling. Jack handled the engineering, designing our first product, a compact server that promised faster data processing for small businesses. I managed everything else: marketing, sales, even answering phones. We bootstrapped with loans from family and credit cards maxed to the limit. Our office was cluttered with circuit boards and takeout boxes. Marriage in those times meant blurring lines between work and home. Arguments flared over budgets, designs, even whose turn it was to walk our rescue dog, Max. But we always reconciled with a hug and a promise to communicate better. "We're in this together, Em," Jack would say, pulling me close. That unity was our secret weapon. By 1995, we secured our first major contract with a chain of retail stores, and revenue hit $500,000. We hired our first employee, a brilliant coder named Sarah, who became like family. As the company grew, so did our family. In 1996, our son Alex arrived, a bundle of joy who turned our world upside down. I remember the panic in Jack's eyes when I went into labor during a crucial investor meeting. He dropped everything, racing to the hospital, and held my hand through 18 hours of labor. Parenthood added a new layer to our partnership. Jack took paternity leave, juggling late-night feedings with product demos. I pumped breast milk in boardrooms, determined not to let motherhood sideline my career. It wasn't easy. There were days I felt torn between being CEO mom and just mom. But Jack was my rock. "You've got this, Em. We're a team," he'd remind me. Alex grew up in the office, playing under desks while we worked. It taught him resilience, and today, at 29, he's our VP of operations, carrying on the legacy. The late 90s brought explosive growth. The internet boom was in full swing, and our servers were in demand. We expanded to a real office in Menlo Park, hiring 50 employees by 1999. Jack's innovations earned patents, and I negotiated deals that put us on the map. But success came with shadows. In 2000, the dot-com crash hit hard. Clients pulled out, stock values plummeted, and we laid off a third of our staff. It was heartbreaking. Friends we'd hired now out of work. Jack and I fought more than ever, stress fracturing our usual harmony. One night, after a particularly brutal argument, I packed a bag and drove to a hotel. But by morning, Jack was at the door with coffee and apologies. "I can't do this without you, Emily. You're my everything." We sought counseling, learning to separate work from marriage. It saved us. We pivoted, focusing on enterprise solutions, and by 2002, we were profitable again, stronger for the scars. The 2000s were our golden era. Thomson Tech went public in 2005, ringing the bell on the NYSE with Alex by our side. Shares soared, and suddenly, we were millionaires. Jack was named Innovator of the Year by Forbes, but he always credited me. Emily's the brains behind the operation. We bought our first home in Atherton, a sprawling estate with a pool and gardens. Philanthropy became part of our life. We founded the Thompson Foundation, funding STEM education for underprivileged kids. Our daughter, Lily, born in 2003, completed our family. She was a firecracker, inheriting Jack's curiosity and my drive. Raising 2 kids while running a Fortune 500 company, we hit that milestone in 2010, was chaotic bliss. Jack coached Alex's Little League, I volunteered at Lily's school. Weekends were sacred. No emails, just family hikes in Yosemite or barbecues with neighbors. Yet, amid the success, personal trials tested our vows. In 2008, during the financial crisis, Jack was diagnosed with prostate cancer. The news hit like a freight train. He was only 43, in his prime. I took over day-to-day operations while he underwent treatment. Surgery, radiation, the works. Seeing my strong husband vulnerable broke me. Nights were spent holding him as he worried about leaving us. "Promise me you'll keep going, Em," he'd whisper. I did, channeling fear into action. We beat it together. His remission in 2010 was our greatest victory. It deepened our love, reminding us that life was fragile. We renewed our vows on our 20th anniversary in Hawaii with the kids as witnesses. Through sickness and health, richer or poor, we reaffirmed, meaning every word. Professionally, the 2010s saw us evolve. Cloud computing exploded, and Jack led our shift to SaaS models. I spearheaded acquisitions, growing our portfolio to include AI startups. By 2015, Thomson Tech employed 5,000 people worldwide, with offices in New York, London, and Tokyo. We graced magazine covers, Inc.'s Power Couple, Time's Tech Titans. But fame brought scrutiny. Tabloids speculated about affairs, untrue, and workaholism, partly true. Jack and I made a pact. Date nights every Friday, no shop talk. It worked. We traveled. Safaris in Africa, wine tours in France, reconnecting as lovers, not just colleagues. Our children flourished under our wing. Alex graduated from MIT, joining the company fresh out of college. Lily pursued art at RSID, her creativity a refreshing contrast to our tech world. In 2018, we faced a corporate scandal when a competitor accused us of IP theft. It was baseless, but the lawsuit dragged on for 2 years. Jack wanted to fight aggressively. I advocated settlement for peace. Tensions rose, echoing our early days. But we compromised, winning in court and emerging unscathed. See? Teamwork, Jack teased. That ordeal taught us humility and reinforced our ethical core. As we entered the 2020s, the pandemic upended everything. Thomson Tech adopted swiftly to remote work, our tools enabling global connectivity. Jack and I quarantined in Napa, where we'd bought a vineyard as a retirement dream. It was a silver lining. Long walks, home-cooked meals, reconnecting as lovers, not just colleagues. We donated millions to COVID relief, focusing on small businesses like the ones we'd once been. Post-pandemic, we scaled back. In 2022, we stepped down as CEOs, handing reins to Alex while staying on the board. Retirement? Not quite. We launched a venture fund for women-led startups, my passion project. Jack mentors young engineers, his way of giving back. Now, in 2025, as I write this on our 35th anniversary, life feels full. Jack's hair is silver, mine touched with highlights to hide the grays. We sip wine from our vines, watching sunsets. Our grandkids, Alex's twins, visit often, filling the house with laughter. Lily's art adorns our walls, a testament to dreams pursued. Our story isn't perfect. We've weathered storms that could have sunk lesser ships. But through it all, Jack has been my constant, my partner in crime, my sounding board, my love. Looking back, our professional life was intertwined with our marriage in ways that made both unbreakable. We built an empire not despite our love, but because of it. To any couple chasing dreams, hold tight, communicate fiercely, and remember why you started. Jack and I did, and it's led us here, to a life rich in legacy, love, and the quiet joy of growing old together.